Hello. How are you? Goodbye. Hello. Hope you had a good weekend. So we've got 3 more characters to draw today. We're going to be drawing Rex from Toy Story. So he's the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the green dinosaur. We're going to be drawing Pluto from the Disney characters series, the Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all of those guys. So we're going to be doing Pluto. And we're going to be doing Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. So he's not really a clown. He looks a bit like a clown. He's got big fuzzy hair. He's the sort of the baddie. So we're going to start off with Rex, the T-Rex. And we're going to start today with his leg, because it's kind of central in the center of the page. So I can remember when I was younger, I used to draw loads of dinosaurs. And I've drawn loads of T-Rexes before. So when we're drawing the leg, if you imagine a chicken drumstick or a turkey drumstick, that's kind of what we're trying to draw. If you can imagine that kind of shape there, and then the leg comes down, we can see some calf muscles at the back, and then the foot comes down, and there are 3 claws, or 3 toes, I guess, on this T-Rex, and then the skin just connects in between. I'm just going to fill these claws in, just make them black. So then on this leg we've got some sort of textures, really. I guess they're just skin and folds of skin and things like that. So just a few details here and there. I'm not sure anybody really knows what a T-Rex's skin was like, but I'm guessing it was sort of scaly and a little bit like a lizard. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to just get a little bit of the body in. So slightly higher than the leg, maybe 1.5 centimeters higher than the leg, and maybe 4 or 5 centimeters to the left. We're going to start and we're going to do this shape. So it's almost an S shape, just slightly on its side. And that's the back of the T-Rex, and it comes in behind this leg because this leg is in front. So we're almost going to do the same shape now, but slightly further away and slightly, similar height actually. So we're going to come down and around. So that's the underside of the T-Rex's tummy coming up into his neck. So from here we're going to now draw the tail. So if you were to continue this line through, if you imagine we were continuing it through the dinosaur, obviously we can't see that line because this leg is in front of it. And then the same with this one. So we would be coming up and it would be that kind of shape. And that's quite an important thing to make sure that you do when you're drawing things that go behind, because if I'd have started the tail too low, you can kind of tell that it wouldn't fit, or if I started it up here too much, you'd be able to figure out that actually the dimensions were slightly off. Now, because this is a toy, it's Toy Story, we can see these lines in there that maybe a real T-Rex wouldn't have had. They're the kind of joints where the plastic are formed together in the factories or wherever they're put together. So we've got a nice little tail there. Let's get this second leg in now. So it's a very similar shape to this, but obviously we can't see the rounded part now because it's behind the dinosaur. So we've got a very similar shape. And because of the angle that we're on, we can only see 2 of this dinosaur's toes on this side, because the other one would be on the other side there. And then we've got some creases of skin, a little bit of the knee. We can put a scale or 2 in there as well. So we've got another one of these creases now, I guess, where if this was a toy it would have been made in, one part would be the body, then the tail, and then the head, and they would have all been put together. So this is the crease here. Okay, so let's start by bringing the neck up, and then we're going to have a shorter line on this side because the Rex's jaw is going to be in there. About halfway in between these 2 points here and a little bit further up, maybe 1.5 centimetres, we're going to have the side of Rex's head, and then he has these funny little eyes that sort of sit on top of his head. And he's got these 2 beady little eyes, but coming out of there is the start of his nose. So his other eye is on this side of that. We can see a couple of nostrils. So if you've ever drawn a dragon or anything like that, we always have these kind of flared nostrils on them. A couple of details. Okay, so here's his jaw now. So a straight line, almost a straight line, and then curve up, and then we've got some detail in there. The bottom jaw comes up and joins up to that, and then we can just see one more slight section underneath there, and then we have these rows of teeth. So they've got these relatively sharp teeth with a slightly rounded bottom. And then we have some on the top, and they're starting on the upper jaw. You can see some details in there. We've got a few of our scales. And then we have one very small arm. These T-Rexes had very, very tiny arms. In comparison to the rest of their body, they had these very small arms. So there's the one sticking out of the left side, and then we have another one. We can see all of this one, just like we can see all of this leg on this side. And then finally we've got some sort of details that indicate the belly of the dinosaur. So we've got a few of these crease lines and scales, bits and bobs everywhere, so you can do as much or as little of this as you want. Now, I wouldn't do too many on them because we don't want it to look ultra realistic, because it is a toy. You know, if I was drawing a realistic dinosaur, then we would want to fill out as much detail as we can. But this, like I say, it's representing a toy dinosaur. Okay, so there's Rex. I'm quite happy with him. I think we've got all of the elements in there. On to Pluto. So like I've said, Pluto's from the Mickey Mouse cartoons. It's actually Mickey Mouse's dog. He's one of my favourite characters. I've drawn Goofy and Mickey loads and loads of times before, and I was when my daughters were younger, they used to love Mickey and Minnie, so I've kind of got a good idea of how these work. So we're going to start with Pluto's nose. So we're going to do a rounded shape. It's not a circle, and we're going to fill out most of this, but we're going to leave a white section like we do with our eyes, because that's going to indicate the highlight. Now, coming away from that, we're going to do 2 curved lines. Again, this looks a little bit, if you were looking at Mickey Mouse from the side, this is what his nose looks like. So, like the Simpsons characters all have a lot of similarities in how they're designed. You'll find a lot of these Disney characters do as well. Okay, so that's the top of the jaw coming round, and then we've got this, again, very similar to what Mickey Mouse has. He has this, I think they call it the mask or something. It's the way that his cheeks look, and and the eyes. Now, sitting on top of this here, we've got these two big eyes. Again, very similar to Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse. I think we've drawn Minnie, haven't we? So the eyes are almost identical. We're going to fill that out, leave a little bit of white for the pupil. And the same on that side. Above the eyes, almost the same shape as the eyeballs themselves, we've got these big eyebrows that stick out. This one just comes around to the side of the face and we can see a little bit of the smile on that side. And then we have a funny little lump on the back of his head. So one line away and then one which comes a little bit further round. So we've got one big flappy ear sticking out on this side, and this is black, so we're just going to fill that in. So we're all starting on, this is the first day of week 4, isn't it, of being on lockdown, with at least another 2 to come. So we'll get through a few more drawings. We've got another ear on this side, but this time it's dangling down. So we're doing a downward shaped ear, like the letter J or something, or an L shape. They're slightly thinner at the top of the ear than they are towards the bottom, but not hugely. So we can now continue this part of the head down and round. And Pluto's got a big bone in his mouth. So we're going to draw a bone sticking out of this side. And one on this side, part of it. And that goes into his mouth, and then we can see the bottom of his jaw. That comes down and round. A little crease there, smile line there. And he's got a couple of whiskers that I can see sticking out on that side. Perfect. So again, if you know any of these Mickey and Minnie characters, Pluto looks almost identical to Goofy as well. Goofy has a hat on, but again, I think they're both dogs anyway, so they do look similar. Okay, we can see a skinny little neck coming out, and he's got a big dog collar on. So we're going to make sure that we get this nice, big chunky dog collar on. Okay, so the start of his body, we've got this, it's almost an S shape, but it's a very, very subtle curve to it, and that's coming almost probably 3/4 of the way down my page. So within here we've now got Pluto's front paws, and he looks like he's doing a trick, or he's begging or something like that. So here's his arm, and then we've got these 3 small claw on each of the toes, and then we can't see his other arm, but we can see the actual toes. So we're going to now see his body coming down and around, and he's got this slightly wider chest coming down into a narrower torso there. We can just see part of his other paw on that side. So let's have a look. So from here we're going to go up at an angle and come over and round, and this is one of his legs. So you'll see in a second, it's very similar to his front legs. Got those little claws in there as well. He's kind of bending his knee. And then the rest of his body comes around this side there, because we can see that. And then his other leg is at a similar angle. We can see that it's bending because of that crease there. And then we can see the 3 toes, one behind the other, going up into his body there. 3 of those. And then he's got a little tail. So his tail will be on that side, so you don't see where it originates. It's a very thin tail. So that is Pluto. Fab. 2 down, 1 to go. So, Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Quite an easy character. He's got a big, fluffy, curly hair on top of his head. So let's start with his nose. So he's got a very long and pointed nose. It looks like a witch's nose. So that kind of shape. And that then comes down into his upper lip, his top lip. And there's his smile. And like all the Simpsons characters, they've got a very, very small bottom lip and a long chin, which comes down into their neck. This character's got a very thin sort of face into the neck. We know that the ear is located slightly lower down than where our ears are. Our ears are much higher up and they're sort of level with your eyebrows and the top of your eyes. If you look at somebody, the top of their eyes and their ear lines up. But these Simpson characters, they've got it level with the nose almost. So we're going to come away from that with a slight angle. And then Sideshow Bob has got these very devious looking eyes. Now the great thing with cartoon characters is you can give them a sense of being evil or happy or sad by what you do with the eyes and also what you would do with eyebrows. So you can make somebody look excited or shocked, or in this case, because we've got this eyebrow or this eyelid which is cutting off half of the eye. If you have a look at Pluto here, so we can see all of his eye and we've got these raised eyebrows. So that's giving an expression of maybe excitement or happiness. That's how that's the emotion that we recognize. Well, when you look at Sideshow Bob, we have these eyes that are half of the eyes showing, and we've got this here. Now, I'm not going to do this, but if I put some eyebrows that were maybe slanting downwards into the middle, again, that would give us an impression that he's up to something or he's not trustworthy. Okay, so let's start with his hair then. So we've got this fuzzy triangular shape, 2 at the front, 1 over each eye, and then 1 here. Now, when I look at this, I've mentioned to you in videos that we've done recently that I always try and look for a shape or something that it reminds me of. Now, this hair reminds me of a firework that's just exploded. So when you see a firework at bonfire night and they explode and you've got the bits of the colours and things like that coming off of the centre, this is what this reminds me of. So bear that in mind as you see me drawing this, because that's the way that I like to draw, is find shapes that are familiar. Maybe there's a pattern in there that I can see. And one of the best ways of training your brain to do things like that is go outside when it's a cloudy day and have a look at the clouds and see what kind of things you can make with your imagination out of the clouds. So can you see a dinosaur, or can you see a dog or something like that? So can you see what I mean now? If this was a firework and it was exploding, it's kind of exploding away from the center. So that's the way that I see that. Okay, so Sideshow Bob's got a shirt on. So most of these Simpsons characters have a collared t-shirt, I guess it would be called, a polo shirt, isn't it? That's what it's called. And his neck comes in there and we can see that side of that. We've got the shoulder. So this is a little bit like Homer and Bart's shoulder. You can see the shoulder, but then there's a t-shirt that cuts off. And then we can see the shirt collar coming around that side. So on here, we've got the thin part of the body, and then like most of the characters, we've got this rounded tummy that cuts off there, but then the circle almost continues round. So if I was looking at this to me looks like a circle, and on top of that circle we've almost got a triangle. So look for some shapes that you can recognise that can help you build the drawing. Okay, so he's got these legs that are sticking out, and they're diagonally facing the right side of our page, and he has the rounded bottoms of his trousers. So he's actually, in this picture, he's actually got his hands behind his back. He is holding something, and I'm going to draw that last because we can see what he's holding, and it's something that he can get into a spot of trouble with by the expression of his face. So we'll do that at the end. I wonder if you can guess what he's holding behind his back. So he's got these big shoes, and this is why I think partly he is a kind of clown. He has these big clown shoes on, a little bit like what Krusty wore. Have we drawn Krusty? Yes. So he's got these big clown shoes. I think he works with Krusty or something, doesn't he? So, behind his back, he is holding a knife. Now I'm not sure what he's doing. I'll tell you what we'll do. Shall we just do some drips of blood coming off of there. There we go. Now we can add the detail of the knife in there. So he's obviously been up to no good. So there's Sideshow Bob. So 3 more characters drawn. And there they are. So Pluto over on the left, and Sideshow Bob in the middle, and Rex from Toy Story. Thanks again for watching and taking part in these. Don't forget to send me some of your work. If you can get somebody to send me a picture of your work on Instagram or on the Facebook page, or you can't send pictures of work on the YouTube channel. If you've got something that you'd like us to draw, then send me a comment in the comment section below the video, or you again Facebook or Instagram, and we'll have a go at those. Like I say, we've definitely got another 3 weeks at least off of school, so we'll get quite a few more characters done, and hopefully by the end of it we'll see who of you have done all of them. That would be brilliant and really, really nice to see. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed that one. Bye.